Okay, kids, Ham and Cheese back here with you again today. And up on the bench, we're going to be doing a real world application testing of the Predator 350 power bank. Reason being is we've had a number of people ask for it, so we're going to give the people what they want, plain and simple. And the first test we're going to do is we're going to be checking in on an 80 meter net here this morning. As you can see, we're already up at 3990.5. And they're going to be calling our county here very shortly. So we're going to go ahead and give it to them at 100 watts and see what we get out of it. The station that's calling the list today is about 40 miles from us, so you should be able to hear us no problem.
Nothing heard. WB3BVZ, Tom. Nothing heard. Any check-ins, Greene County? Moving on to Indiana County, AB3XA, Craig. K3ZYK, Bill. Nothing heard. KB3JOD, Terry. KM3M, Fred.
Good morning, Jim. Good hearing you this morning. No traffic.
Good to hear you, Fred. Thanks for checking in. Good morning to you. WB3DUD, Jerry. Any additional check-ins, Indiana County?
Net control, please copy Kilo Charlie 3 November Hotel Echo and take 15 for our 2 meter public service net.
Okay, I got Kilo Charlie 3 November Hotel Echo. What's the first name?
Yeah, Jim, the name here is Gary, Golf Alpha Romeo Yankee. Good to hear you on the air again, my friend.
Oh, okay. I didn't recognize the call. Alrighty, Gary, gotcha. Thank you very much for checking in, and I confirm the figure is 1-5.
Roger, roger.
Okay, any other check-ins, Indiana County?
All right, so there it is. First test of the application. You saw it come up here on the Predator. No problem at 100 watts, working 80 meters. Let's move on to our next test. Okay, for our second test today of output power, we're going to run 3 devices at once. The first being our Anytone charger, which we have right here. And we're going to plug in our Anytone HT. We're also going to run a 300 watt heat gun, which you've seen that before on the channel, nothing new there. And then we're also going to run USB power. So we're going to run from 2 sources, USB and AC power. And the USB is going to be charging the iPhone that we're filming this on right now. So let's go ahead and start this test. As you can see, we're at 0 watts right now. We're going to put the Anytone in first. And as expected, comes up to about 13 or so, no issue. Next, we're going to go ahead and fire the heat gun. There you can see it comes right up, about 294 watts. Let's go ahead and bring the iPhone on board. Okay, so we have 2 sources running at the same time. We're running just shy of 300 watts with absolutely no issues whatsoever. So there you can see, no problem in doing so. All right, for the next part of this, we're going to start doing some incoming testing now to show draw power versus output power and see how it operates with incoming sources and see what it does against that. All right, so for the first incoming power test, we have the 120 AC hooked up. You can see the cords right here hanging. And at the moment, we don't have anything pushing against it. We're going to put the Anytone up against it, and then we'll put the heat gun up against as well to see what it does. Right now, it's telling us time to full is about 19 minutes. So let's go ahead and put the first one in. And as you can see, it doesn't change that factor any. Let's go ahead and put the heat gun to it next. And you can see it's at about 1 hour and 4 minutes for time to empty. and running at 296 watts out, 73 watts in. Doesn't really change it much, just takes a couple watts away. Let's go ahead and see what it does with the power pools and the direct connect for the cigar plug and see what happens. Okay, so right now we're running at 12 volt power. We're running off of our distribution block you can see up here in the background. And we're putting about 68 in at the moment. Let's go ahead and fire up the AC side again. And let's see what happens this time around when we put the Anytone to it. So we're still 68 in, about 17 out. This is a 20 amp fuse. It should be able to hold this thing no problem. Let's go ahead and fire the heat gun and see what happens. There you can hear it. We're at about 297 watts out. Still holding 72 in nicely, 73 now. And taking on power no problem. Alright, let's do one more test putting the 120 and the 12 volt together since it can hold simultaneously and see what happens. Okay, so for our last capacitance test here, we're back up to 100% again. And right now this thing's getting ready to finish out. It's already dropping down to about 40 watts here, as you can see. We do have a 14 watt load against it with the Anytone charger at the moment. And we're going to go ahead and fire the heat gun against it. One thing you're going to see that's interesting when we do, this is going to jump back up to about 140 to 150 watts in. And we'll see about 295 or so out. So let's go ahead and make that happen right now. So there it is, 296 watts out. And you can see that the end jumps up to about 150 or so. And we're putting the load against it and holding it no problem whatsoever. And it's holding its own just fine. Now what's happening is, and this is going to drop back pretty quick as you saw there just now. And it's going to take a moment or two to change out and fluctuate a little bit till it levels off. But what's occurring there is there's a safety in that as it gets closer to full charge, there's an overflow protection, if you will, keeping that battery from overcharging itself. And at 100%, it will shut itself down, which it should do here pretty shortly, as you can see in about 3 minutes to full charge. So there it is. In short, the Predator 350, that's a real-world application test. We tested a 100-watt radio against it with no problem. We've now put multiple loads by itself and with multiple sources and single sources coming into it with no problem, and it held its own just fine. So for those of you who keep kicking this thing around and keep saying that this thing is trash, I think we've proven you wrong once again, and I'm going to have to disagree with you once again on it, just like we did in all those comments that the naysayers put on the first video. It's clearly holding its own just fine, and I'll be truthful and honest with you. If you got the coin to drop on the 2000, which is starting to hit the stores now, go out there and pick it up, because these are absolute winners. And these are going to absolutely change the game of portable power. They're already doing it. The prices of the EcoFlows and the prices of the Jackeries are dropping. The Blue Eddies have already dropped in price. And everything's just going to try to play catch up to these guys now. Say what you want about Harbor Freight and say that their stuff's junk, but they've really made a 360 and they've come full circle on a lot of things. And this is one of them. Once again, an absolute winner, an absolute sleeper, and totally worth picking up at the price point of just $200 for this unit. So go out there and get yourself one. You will not regret it. All right, kids. Thanks for watching. I'm 7-3.